Okay, so by now you've probably heard about the new hand-drawn maze software through my channel, through Facebook, or from someone else. And as great as a software that it is, I'd like to help clear up any concerns that you have with the pricing structure and actually go through the different upgrades to help you decide which version you'd like to get, if any. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to go through some of the most frequently asked questions. So by the end of this video, you're going to be 100% crystal clear as to what you're getting. And also, if you want to check out my review of the hand-drawn maze software and the bonus case study that I give away with the software if you buy it through me, then you can go into the description below and take a look at them just by following the links. And of course, if you do desire to buy the hand-drawn maze software, then you can use the link below as well. So first off, regarding the pricing structure, the launch date is between the 22nd and the 25th of February. So for most of you watching that will probably be today. So what happens, and this isn't me trying to scare you, after the launch period, the prices of each version of the software is going to go up, okay? So I'm going to explain all of that throughout this video. But do bear in mind that the price will never ever return to this, and I can assure you 100% that the price of this software will never ever go on offer again. And if you're with me during the last software release that these guys made, then you'll know that to be the case, okay? So the 22nd to the 25th is your best time to purchase the software for a one-time payment, okay? So let's get into this and start with the base version of the software, which is going to be $47 at the launch price. And then after the launch, that's going to go up to $67, okay? So let me log into an account that can showcase the base version for you, okay? The $47 version. So what you're going to get with this is you get 5 different maze types here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now within these, you get different versions of these as well, different variations of each maze type, which gives you a total of 150 mazes, okay? So that's 150 mazes for you to play with, and these are the styles of the mazes that you're getting with the base version, okay? So with this version of the software, you get the basics where you can click and play around with your maze design, so resizing it and positioning it where you want it on your page. And on top of that, you have the ability to show the different paths of the maze as well. So some of these mazes have different paths, okay? And you can select that from the path tool up the top here. So moving on, you also get the automatic solutions that are applied to the back of your book. So you can decide how many you want per page in the settings here. So you can change that from 6 to 1 to 2 to 4 or to 8. So for example, if I wanted to have one solution directly afterwards, we could have that there, okay? And if we wanted to have 8, obviously if we had 7 more mazes, they would all show up in here as well, okay? And of course, there's a few other basic features here, like being able to select the trim size for your book, whether you want to have the page numbering on as well. And of course, you have the ability to show off the margins in your book here, so you know what you're working with when it comes to uploading this onto KDP. So what I'm going to do here is to start creating my own maze so that I can showcase the other features that are in the base version of this software. So what we can do here is to actually upload our own images into the software and start creating our maze around this. So let me just do that for you quickly. So we can select the images that we want to include in this maze. So I've selected these 3 images here, okay? So let me just start quickly creating something so you can see, even with the base version, how creative you can get and how good your mazes can look. So what I want to do is to move this backwards a little bit and then start creating my maze inside of this image. So what we can do is just have these up here. Okay, so just to showcase another feature here within obviously all versions of the software is that you can change the transparency of the maze. So obviously you can have it filled in. So if you're creating a maze like this where you have like a nice looking background, then you can fill it in white. So if you wanted to have it transparent, you can change that up here. That's going to change that like that too, okay? So again, that's included in this version of the software. And of course, everything that's included in the base version of software is also included in any upgrade that you get as well, okay? So also with this, we have the ability to add text. And when it comes to the amount of fonts that you can use, we have, I think it's over 900 that you can select from here, okay? Then of course you can select the font that you think is the most appropriate for the type of book that you're going for. So you could have something, obviously you can move it around and resize it to have it wherever you want it. And then you can create these kind of story driven mazes with these with the text that you add as well, okay? So I'm not going to do that now, but you can see that there's still a lot of flexibility and creativity to be had within just the base version of the software, okay? Okay, so the last feature here is that you get 100 downloads per month. Now, just to avoid any confusion, what I will say is that this is 100 times that you click the download button, not 100 mazes. Okay, so if you have, let's imagine you have another 10 mazes that you've created. Okay, if you had 10 mazes and you click download, that's one of your 100 downloads, not 10. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, but just be aware that you are limited to pressing that button 100 times in the month. Okay, so that's pretty much everything with the base version. So after this launch period, that goes from $47 to $67. Okay, so that's going to move us on to what the upgrades are and how much they cost and how much the price will go up to as well. So what I want you to bear in mind is that you don't have to consecutively buy the upgrades. Okay, so for example, if you wanted just the base version and the third upgrade, you could combine those two and just have those two. If you wanted to have the base version and the second upgrade, you could have just those two. If you wanted to have the base version and all three upgrades, then you can do that as well. But one thing is you need to obviously have the base version, so the $47, and then you can pick and choose which upgrades from there, if any. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so that moves us on to the upgrades. Now the first upgrade that we're going to talk about is Hand Drawn Mazes Pro. So that's the first upgrade. Now the first upgrade costs $67 on top of the base version. So that's $67 at launch. Now after the launch, that's going to go up to $97. Okay, so let me create a maze here and go over the main features of this upgrade. Okay, so one of the main features is that we have the ability to view the different path solutions. Okay, so what we have here in front of us is a maze that has 3 different solutions that will ultimately all end up at the bottom here. Okay, so what this tool allows us to do is to create kind of story driven mazes. Okay, so without this, what the child can do is they can start here and they can take whatever route they want, and eventually, you know, just from scribbling over the page, they'll eventually end up at the pond here. Okay, which is fine. That gives the child confidence, and that if they persevere with something, then they'll be able to get to their end goal. However, if you want to change that, where the child is penalized for going the wrong way, then this is where this tool comes in handy. So what I want to imagine in this scenario is that if the child goes the wrong way and hits an angry frog, then they need to start again from the beginning. Okay, so in order for that to happen, we have to block the paths that we don't want as a solution. Okay, so for example, using this tool here in upgrade 1, if we want to have the path that we want clear, that is the winning path for the child to take, we can use this tool to see that. Now what we want to do after that is to block the remaining paths. Okay, so I might have to make a separate video on this, but the concept is you'll be able to select the different paths and then block them with whatever you want to block them with, whatever caters to the story. And then eventually when it comes to the correct path, we'll be left like this. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Again, I might need to create a separate video for this, but I think you can understand how much time this would save if you weren't able to view these paths on screen. Okay, and also if you're creating 10, 20, 40, 50 of these type of story driven mazes where you needed to block certain paths, it would take you many hours to find out which paths you needed to block without having the paths selection on screen. Okay, so moving on from that, we also have a quick book creator. Now what you can do here is to select the different types of mazes that you want and then put in how many versions of the maze you want and just create that, and that's going to drop those mazes that you selected and the amount of those mazes straight into the software for you to play around with. Okay, so the next feature, and I probably should have mentioned this for the front end, but in the front end version, when it comes to actually downloading your maze, you have 3 options. You have the PDF, you have the PNG, and you have the JPEG options for downloading. Now with this upgrade, you get the PPTX version, the PPTX file as well. Okay, so next feature here is when it comes to the text, we have the options to change the letter spacing, and we have the options to change the letter height as well. Okay, so the next feature here that we have is the ability to change the color of the mazes and the solutions. Okay, so if I wanted this maze to be red, I can just simply select the red from here, and that's going to change the color of the maze to red. So this is quite a big one because it gives you the ability now to sell these as printables on Etsy, or if you want to use them on your book cover, for example, you can have them in color. Then lastly here we have the different type of style for our solution, which we can also change the color for as well. So we have 12 different styles, and just to quickly showcase a couple of them, we can go from things such as just the standard line to dotted lines, and then lines with arrows on them as well. Okay, so this is just a run through of what you get in upgrade 1. So I did actually forget to mention that you do get unlimited puzzle book downloads with this version as well, okay? Okay, so let's move on to the second upgrade, which is going to be Hand-Drawn Mazes Premium. And at the launch price, this is $97. And then after the launch price, it goes up to $147. So basically what you get with the premium version is 1,000 maze designs. And in fact, I think that's possibly over 1,000 maze designs. Okay, so I can't go over all of them, but we have a ridiculous amount. And bear in mind, within each of these, we have the variations of them as well. Okay, so this is a big one for me because you are getting a stupendous amount to work with here. All kinds of crazy designs. As you can see here, lots and lots and lots of designs. So for this upgrade, this is one of the cases of how much would this cost you to outsource, or how much time would it take you to create. Now, for over 1,000 mazes, you would never find someone to outsource that for $97. So I think you need to think of it that way. And if that adds that amount of value to your publishing business and what you think you can do with it, then that's one that you should seriously consider. Okay, so that moves us on to the third upgrade here, which is Hand-Drawn Mazes Elite. So what this gives you is over 400 design elements to work with, okay? So the price of this, the Hand-Drawn Mazes Elite upgrade, is $67 at launch, and then it goes up to $97 after launch, okay? So you get 400 of these design elements, and these are all in different niches, as you can see here. So 400 of these in farm, pirates, trees, beaches, shops and buildings, etc, etc. Now, these are made by very good designers. Again, it's one of those things you'd have to ask yourself, how much would it cost you to outsource? How much time would it take you to make yourself? And as you can see, there are just lots of different high quality images that you can use for your activity books, your maze books, or whatever it is you're going to be doing with the software. And like I say, this is 400 images in different niches for $67. Again, you'd have to weigh up what that's worth to you and your publishing business, okay? But for sure, if you were trying to target seasonal niches like Halloween, Christmas, then, you know, having these elements would certainly help you out when it comes to creating your activity books. But again, that's for something for you to decide. So for the sake of not making this video too long, if you have any questions about the software, make sure that you leave a comment below and I'll get back to you, okay? Okay, so just to answer a couple of the most frequently asked before I end this video, I think what people wanted to know most was, is this genuinely a one-time payment? And the answer is yes. Once you pay for it, you get this forever. The other question that people had before was, how many mazes can I download? Now, as explained, that is how many times you hit the download button. So if you have the front end offer, just the front end offer, you can hit that download button 100 times. So, you know, like I said before, if you have 20, 30 different pages, you click download, that's one download, okay? The other question that gets asked a lot is, does the software work on PC and Mac? The answer is yes, because the software is cloud-based and it will work on both PC and Mac. And the last question that people have been asking is, can I buy this after the launch period? And the answer is yes, of course you can. We've explained in this video that the price does go up after the launch period, but you'll still be able to get it if you are late to the party, okay? Okay, so that's it for this video. Now, bear in mind, I still have this interview video coming up with my Facebook friend who's made over 100 sales with his first book that he ever created. And he was actually using the previous software that these guys sold, so the Instant Maze Generator, I think it was. He used that inside of his book, and he's going to be using the Hand-Drawn Maze one as well in his future book. So he's going to give us a look at what he did then and what he's going to be doing in his future books as well. Okay, so I'm excited to talk to him, and I hope you're excited to see that too. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you want to get the software, you can get it from the description below, and of course you get my bonuses on top of that. And yeah, if you want to go watch the review, you can do that from the description. You want to see what my bonuses offer, you can do that from the description as well. But yeah, if you get the software, hope you enjoy it. You can have a great time with it, and I'll see you in another video very soon.